what's an interesting match versus North on Saturday? Let us know where you're tuning in from, and Daz, how's things, mate?
Yeah, mate, things are good. I think as Hawks fans, I think we're sitting pretty content with how things went last week, of course. And if someone had told me 4 weeks ago that we would have a danger game against North Melbourne, I probably would have laughed at them. But it's exactly what it is.
I think it is, and it begs the question: does that third game after a new coach is there's a bit of the excitement and the new shine and the gloss and playing for your spot. Sure, some guys will be trying to retain their spot and stand out, but yeah, third game seems to be about where it starts to take a little bit of a dive. But I still feel a little bit like that, like you, a danger game potentially.
Yeah, well, we were here talking pre-round one, weren't we? And I know we were saying about the anxiety around Sam Mitchell's first game, but we just thought to ourselves, we can't lose to the mob that finished last. And right now we're sitting here, 17 weeks later, 18 weeks later, saying we can't lose to the mob that are going to finish last. It's extraordinary, the symmetry there.
Yeah. It's an interesting matchup this week. So we'll cover some injury news tonight. The team's been named as a nice little milestone that we will touch on. But yeah, interesting to see how we go. And for those that are joining us, if it's not live, thank you for tuning in. Base Compression partners with us and make a lot of this stuff possible. So check them out. Base Compression. We'll give them a little bit of a plug as we go, but they've been good supporters. So, Daz, all right. So we've got a big milestone from a big fella who's got even bigger over the preseason, Mitchy Lewis, and he's continued to do it. And I'm a little bit shattered personally that he's missed a couple of games, but number 50 is being chalked up for Mitchy.
Yeah, what an extraordinary achievement it is. And I think amongst all current players in the competition, he ranks 4th for goals going into his 50th game, which is an extraordinary effort, better than Hawkins, better than Jeremy Cameron, I think, was on that list as well. I think Max King has him covered, but it's an extraordinary season that he's having. We kind of wanted this from Mitch, but we didn't want to jinx him, did we? But he's producing it on his own. He's been extraordinarily good, and geez, if it wasn't for the 4 games he's missed, if you look at his goal average, he would be rivaling Charlie Curnow for the top of that Coleman Medal leader board.
Yeah, and it's a great point. Glen Ferry Gold, pick 76. We've found a few rippers. So, Mitchy, have a big one, big fella, and towards the end when we get your predictions, wouldn't surprise me if we see Lewis, named to kick a few. So,
quality matchup too with Ben Mackay. It's probably going to go to him. So I think North figured out that he's not a full forward, which is good because that's not what they drafted him as, and they've put him back. He was really good last week. Thought that's probably the best I've seen someone play Tom Lynch in a very, very long time. So Mitch is going to have his work cut out for him, but he's been really good against really good defenders this year. So looking forward to that battle.
Yeah. Well, look, it's interesting. Look, Richmond did lose that one. For mine, I think there wouldn't be too much argument that kicking accuracy. But look, onto our team. So CJ, sadly, a little bit sore, a little bit of bone bruising after they checked it out. So he's going to miss maybe just the 1 week. So Talking Hawks own CJ, sad to hear, but look, he's been active. And Cozzy as the Medi sub. So welcoming in, over to you, mate.
Jack Gunston, our man. What a tumultuous time it's been, and we'll talk about some news that came in this afternoon, I think, at the end of the show. But having Jack back is fantastic, of course, but knowing that he's in a mindset that is allowing him to play footy is more important than how he goes on the field, of course. So we're thrilled that Jack's in an okay space at the moment, and we wish him all the very best. But usually when there's an out or an in, there's usually you can find a player or two that are kind of thrilled with the news, if you will. So with Jack coming in, the man who's smiling a lot is Mitch Lewis, who I think one of the stats gurus on Twitter who has way too much time on their hands said that Mitch was involved in more 2 or 3-on-1 contests than anyone's been at any game throughout the year. So he had a lot to deal with Barras, Hearn, and these guys coming in, Harry Edwards as well. So with Gunston and the respect that he's going to get from an Aiden core, you'd think Mitch might be left to his own devices. And although Ben McKay's a quality opponent, I think he's going to feel pretty comfortable. And in a kind of selfish way, with CJ going out, the guy that's probably a little bit happy about that, and I don't mean that in any disrespectful terms, is probably Josh Morris, the tank, who, when he came into the side, we were probably thinking we wish we could give him 3 or 4 games. Well, this will be his 3rd in a row. A little bit quieter last week, but with CJ out of the team, he's kind of free, a bit more free, I think. So I think we're going to see the best of the tank this week, which would be good to see.
Yeah, and do they take the opportunity to explore a few other little things, where just changing of roles with CJ going, where do we look to pick up a little bit of extra run? Be interesting. But you going back to, you said Mitch Lewis will be smiling with Gunners back. I reckon Gunners will be smiling too. I think he doesn't mind shuffling in there and getting a little bit less attention when Lewis commands all that defensive focus. So, look, I hope Gunners comes back in and just with a plomp. I hope he just does so much. There's so much class. The leadership, it's absolutely for the forward line. I reckon they really get up, but I think the leadership to the whole group is something that they'll be keen to get around him after he's had the family loss. So we will briefly segue. Also, sad news that it seems Justin Crawford, Shane's brother's passed as well. So thoughts and greatest of respect to the Crawford family, and Justin did don the Guernsey for the club as well, and so very sad. Just to one of our own. Thoughts and our hearts go out to you tonight. So,
Awesome.
So all right, matchups, fans. We've got some questions. Let's go. Kerry's got a good one here. I think I read, and thank you, Kerry. We don't hear from you too much, but maybe not first time listener, but nice to see your face. I don't think this is the first time the Hawks have played at the at Blundstone ground. Is that right? In an official?
Yeah, for premiership points. So we've played there once in the past. It was a practice game against Fitzroy in 1991, and we won by 165 points. So pretty handy result.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, so. But the unfamiliar ground. I mean, we talk about it all the time with Geelong and GMHBA Stadium. That's got flanks so narrow it's not actually a full ground, but that's a story for another day. So yeah, there's probably going to be a period of getting used to the game. So I wouldn't be surprised if our third or our last quarter is the best one of the lot. That's a good insight.
Yep. Wind down in Lonnie. I don't know. I can't verify or deny there, Tom, but
well, that would be the practice game. I said 160 odd. Surely you got to give me that at 157.
Mate, well, he's got
Tommy.
Google, Tom, or maybe you're an almanac as well. Love your contributions. So I don't know. We're used to playing down there. The travel, all that, not a big deal. It's a little bit of dimension change, and you go and check out the ground. You always see them out there having a good look. So I think we'll be fine. There we go. Yep, thank you, John. So it's interesting. I think the little rally that comes with a new coach is going to fall off. And I was interested in Zerha, kicked 6 last week. Well, our man's kicked 6 as well, one of our men. So
it'd be nice if that was talked about once. That'd be good.
Yeah, let's see if he fires up. There's been a good article that Smitty has done for us. I think that was today that went out, didn't it?
Yeah.
On Brewsty as a small forward. Check it out on talkinghawks.com on Twitter. But yeah, the Hawkeye segment on talkinghawks.com has a lot of articles. So we're getting some good stuff out there around different players and just different views, different articles, not just a review as Dazzler comes up with. But I think what was some of the stats in there? I just loved his comparison of Eddie Betts and
Stephen Milne.
Milne. So yeah, just in the recent, in the modern era as small forward. So just 3 good different perspectives on Brewsty and how he fares against those. So check that out if you haven't seen it already. But anyway, Zerha, 6 goals. That is my question to you. And to you fans, is that a problem for us? Liking the confidence? We're giving the
there's a
fans a
bloke
little bit
called
of
Blake
time.
Hardwick. There's a bloke called Blake Hardwick who's just going to put the absolute clamps on. I mean, for those that don't know, I am dating a Richmond fan. Please don't log off after hearing that. I promise she's one of the very, very rare good ones. But
she was wearing a Hawks Guernsey last week.
Yeah,
so
she was.
Is a good sort.
She did the right thing by all of us, which was extraordinary.
Don't tell me.
I watch Richmond games a bit, maybe with more detail than a lot of Hawks fans. I don't think I've seen Dylan Grimes play worse. Cameron Zohar was given so much space. Blake Hardwick's not going to do that at all. So, could he have a good game? Yeah, of course he could. It would be ridiculous of us to say he's going to be, pathetic, but he's not having a performance like that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Zohar's going to have a different jumper. So it's going to be called Hardwick. So he will be wearing him. Yeah.
He's going to present him with some sponges at the end of the game because Dimmer's going to give him an absolute bath.
Yeah. Well, here we go. Mr. California, too small. Yeah.
He had 8 contests against Jack Darling last week and didn't lose any of them. So I don't reckon height's going to be a big issue for our man.
Yeah. I'll see if I can dig some stats on the fly. I think we're covering fairly well. It's always a little bit of the fast break aspect. We might get caught out with a few, but yeah. I'm not too concerned. I just wanted to pose the question, see the thoughts from the fans. So hearing here, Larky won't play. Is he out?
No, he's still subject to a fitness test tomorrow, Tommy. So it looks like he'll go through. Because I did try to do the right thing, Hawks fans, because no one will know on here, but North's interim coach, Lee Adams, is married to my cousin Cass. So he is a good man, unfortunately, because he is on the opposition.
Oh, the name dropping. The name
dropping.
The wobbles.
I only say that because I did ask him if he could rest Luke Davies-Uniacke this week, and he hasn't. He's let me down in a big way, Patch, so he's got to be better than that. I'll bring it up at Christmas.
Come on. Just one little favour.
Oh, boy, it'd be nice.
Well, we'll get onto that in a minute, but look, there's still a few thoughts here.
Yeah.
Chris, respect it, and then I don't mind this by Dom in reply. Blank might sort out if there's a bit of a mismatch.
I wouldn't mind Sicily going to him, just because you put those two egos next to each other, it could get fireworks.
Yeah. Well, there we go. It's an interesting matchup, that one. But yeah, you were fascinated with the midfield because last week, what was it? There was some boys that had some good numbers in Simpkin and who was it?
Davies-Uniacke in the middle. Dominated. Yep. He's had a really good year, LDU, which is weird to say because North have not. But he's one of those guys, and we talk about it with Jai, and we've talked about it with with Josh Ward on the day, didn't we? But LDU drives out of contests with his legs. So we've seen some guys in midfields that just get clearances by handballing backwards or not being that threatening with the ball, but he's keeping the ball in his hands and he's finding space. So yeah, it's something that definitely needs to be looked at because although he's going to a forward line that has kicked the least amount of points this year, as is the nature of North, we can't deny their last 2 weeks, which have been a lot better with a somewhat injured Nick Larkey. And, Richmond and Collingwood's defenses aren't fantastic, but they've both conceded less points than us.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. So Simpkin 34 last week against the Ties. The LDU factor was on 28. So not too shabby, and they both got well over 500 meters gained. So good challenge for us. It sounds like a bit of a yes. Here we go. I was about to say this, Nick. Bang. That's my
Finn.
thoughts.
Yeah, love it.
Exactly.
Good size too. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with
Spin
both.
Doctors, DJing. Yeah, it's all happening tonight. Yep. Agreed.
There was a part of me that was thinking maybe Aaron Hall, but the problem that you've kind of got with that is Aaron Hall will take kickouts and push Finn a bit back. So, Finn on LDU. Love it.
The Shark. He's got him. He's got him covered. So, Well, mate, you got it on repeat. You're the spin doctor, so change that record, big fella. Look, it'll be interesting. So, what do you see is that key mid matchup or two? Is them looking at us first of all? What are they combating? Because I'm thinking Tom's again. I'm hearing it last week, not getting meters gained. That I think he's adjusted to look for the handball. So if you've got a guy that's going and getting it out, you don't really care about meters gained. So it's absolutely it's a moot point. And I think Tom's adjusting and fitting in nicely. Yeah, the midfield's still a long way from firing the way we'd all like to see. But what do you think North's looking at? Is the first assignment working out Newcomb? Is he got that much attention now?
I don't think in a real tag way. I don't think Tom Powell, who I think would be their midfield sort of stopper, if you want to look at it like that, I don't think LDU or Simpkin are going to stand next to the same opponent all day. They'll back themselves in. So, yeah, I don't think Tom Powell's the answer. So I think what you've got to do if you're playing on Jai, and it's a bit like LDU, the same, that you can kind of lump them together. LDU probably a little bit more, probably a little bit ahead of Jai, only because of the experience. We've seen Jai do some fantastic things, of course, but it's just pushing them into the contest because the closer they are to tacklers, the less likely they are to break away. So I wouldn't mind those two fellas just standing next to each other, bull v bull, and just watching them go at it. But I think both midfield groups are just going to have to back them in and go from there. Because if you take one out of the game, you're probably likely to take the other out if they stand next to each other. So if they cancel each other out, how's the rest of the midfield looking? Well, like you said, Titch isn't really taking territory. So you're probably looking at that third midfielder, whether it is a Connor Nash, Josh Ward, who was fantastic last week, but he was fantastic on the outside. The thing with Titch is it's not about Titch getting the ball; it's about who he's feeding it to and how much space they've got. So, and it worked.
I think we've passed the line.
Josh Ward, yeah.
I think it's official. I think it's an evolution. I don't think Titch is going to ever be going back and trying to boot that ball. I might be totally wrong, but I feel like that's going to be the role, the facilitator.
Yeah, do you remember when one of us got criticised for saying Titch can't be our best midfielder? Remember when someone said that at about round 3 and got eviscerated for it? I remember.
Clearly you do.
I remember. Yeah, 100%.
The long memory. Yeah, but I love the diversity. Who's firing? Oh, Ward, Moore. I wouldn't say Nash has, ripped a game apart from the midfield, but he's influencing in a big way in different ways. Locking, getting ball. He does bring it out and give us some runs sometimes, but how many? I'd love to see that if Nashy puts up his hand this week and says, "I'm going to be your the one giving you the most trouble in the North Melbourne coaching box." So let's see who we're looking at first and foremost. Who's the assignment? Is Simpkin? Who's running with Simpkin?
No, Simp don't.
Or not?
Doesn't matter. No. LDU.
Okay.
Meters gained from stoppage is going to be key. Like I did enjoy Simpkin's performance, but I wouldn't have him ahead of LDU, Zerha. I'd probably have Jaden Stevenson's performance last week, probably rated better than Simpkin. So I don't think he's going to be the guy that's going to win North the game. He could still play well, of course, if North do get up. But I don't think we're going to be sitting here on Monday going, oh, geez, we should have done something about Jai Simpkin. If we are going to lose that midfield battle, it's LDU, 100%.
Yep. Well, it's not looking like rain at this stage.
That's a first for Tassie.
Yeah.
In winter.
Tassie's bringing it for us. Tom, you had a good comment here. For mine, let me go back to Goldie. He definitely is. I'm noticing him a bit more, and for a while I wasn't noticing him. So a purple patch, I can't say 100% there, but I think with Big Boy back in, and we can control what time, if he's got the legs, how much time he can put against, he can be put in there in the centre clearance, importantly. I don't mind seeing what Noodle can bring, because Reeve needs these challenges against rucks that are in good form, and seeing if he can be, how influential he can be. So thoughts on Goldie, Daz?
Well, Well, he almost brought North completely back into the round one game in that last quarter, and that was just from taking marks inside forward 50. He wasn't really killing us around the ground, but I agree about the purple patch, and you only need to look at the tap to Zerha that ended up being the game-winning goal as a, what is this guy, 33 years old, and he's still tearing it up. But I think we've got the cattle to throw at him, like you said.
Yep.
I think this will be a really good lesson for Ned Reeves as well, and I think that's going to be fantastic. And the winner of that battle is probably going to be the one who does more damage round the ground with kicks down the line and stuff like that. I think Goldie's 6th for hitouts to advantage average, which isn't fantastic. Yep. So, and we know Noodle's going to improve on that. So, I don't think it'll be the matchup that'll cost us, but I think Reeves needs to expose him around the ground and move forward, give us some height.
Yep, there we go. He's still tuning in. So, Chris, the Viking, love it. So it's interesting. I think through this chat, I'm quietly a little bit more confident now. I still feel my worry about it being a little bit of a danger game. You put out a ripper article, Daz, that got a lot of feedback on the young blokes and firing and the confidence and versus maybe looking at where we end up on the ladder and wins and losses and what sort of a difference that can make in terms of focusing on draft picks or focusing on confidence in a win. So if you haven't read it, check that article out as a ripper by Daz. And he loves different views. Let's give him some substance.
If I could go back, I would probably say, because the overall point is wins now are more important than the draft position later. And I explain why, because this draft is midfield heavy. So we're going to be all right in that department. But at best, we're going to get pick 3. We're a better side than that. And at worst, we're going to get pick 6. The gap's not going to be that big, and we're really good developers of young talent. So I probably missed on that real aspect of the point a little bit in there. But I appreciate the feedback, and people have enjoyed it. But, geez, this draft group that we've got now, Josh Ward, Connor McDonald, Sam Butler showed signs. I don't think Ned Long was going to be far away, but he got concussed, so fingers crossed he's all right. Ooh, Mark McKenzie. Oh, boy, I hope you're getting well paid, big fella, because you are doing your job magnificently well.
And, who there was the news during the week as well. Who have we got coming in from the Tigers?
Peter Berg.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, high performance manager. Luke Boyd will be departing at the end of the year, and Peter Berg's probably rated as one of the best in the league. And when you're the high performance manager of a team that won 3 flags in 4 years and 4 prelims in a row, probably a good person to bring into your footy club.
Yeah. 100%. Jason, good point. Yes, amazing having Big Boy back. I don't know if we mentioned it. It was in our chat.
Do we need to ask
his last 7 games? 6 of them wins and 1 draw, and that's Big Boy's last 7 games. So it does make a big difference.
Do we need to ask the question on how big the void is between leadership? Because Big Boy, we probably not forgot, but maybe we took for granted how good of a leader Big Boy is, because without him in the side, we kind of struggled as the pure next guy up. And when Big Boy came back, like the comment said, we look like we were running on top of the ground. I do wonder whether that is a guarantee for next year, or maybe even 2 more years while we figure out who's next in the pack. Maybe it isn't as clear-cut as maybe us as fans thought, maybe even 12 months ago.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of conversation around the leadership and the way he went about it when he was injured and rehabbing, and just what he brings off the field as well, as much as anything. But when we do see him make, and everyone lift in his presence, I think there's always something to look at in the first year of being a captain as well, and how well that individual adjusts to the role. So year 2, being just okay, and then not being able to get on the field, it would have challenged, I think, any leader about how you best influence a young, and developing group, and bring the leadership out in others around you. So I think we're better on the whole, increasing the depth of leadership. So I just like that he can go forward or back or be in the middle and make a difference. So to your point there, Scotty, agree. I would rather see Big Boy on Goldie when Goldie is forward. It's a nice luxury to have him being a bit universal like that.
I'll tell you what I haven't seen. How many goals in his career do you reckon he's kicked on his left? I know he was in the goal square, but still.
Big boy?
Big boy, yeah.
Well, I'll have how many goals has he kicked? Do we know? I'm guessing he's at
100? 120? Someone Google this before I do.
I'm thinking a little bit more, but
this will make for good live streaming while I look this up.
Yeah, I reckon he would have kicked under 5, or maybe on his left.
I'm going 120.
I'm going closer to 101.
I should have trusted my 100 guess. Come on, Daz, you're better than that.
But we'll take the left. We'll take it anyway. So
he's kicked 101.42. How accurate is that for a ruckman?
Yeah, he's.
Sorry, I'll get off my phone now.
Lovely.
He's a smart big boy.
Yeah.
Will, just before we get to the fans, Matty, a player that I want to pose to you and what his role's going to be. Do we continue with Will Day forward? With Gunners back, what's his role, do you reckon? With CJ out, do we put him on a flank? Back flank, I mean?
I'm comfy shuffling him back, to be honest. I worry about his kamikaze style.
A boy just jumped at everything.
Well, but he does it when he's down back too. So there's not a lot of self-preservation. And if that's his makeup, it doesn't really matter where you play him in that sense. So I don't mind the experiment. And maybe when the wins and losses and all of that don't count as much, if that's the view, go for it. Experiment away is my position. So next year you want to know where he is. But if it's about him saying, what can you do? You kick a couple, put him forward, and he kicks a couple of goals.
Yeah,
Sicily's like that too. As a backman, you put Sis forward, he's going to take a couple of grabs, and he's probably going to kick a goal or two in a short space of time. So if you get that in a small forward option as well, brilliant.
Yeah, I just love him on a wing. I remember when Nick Cox was drafted to Essendon and we all got told this guy's 2 meters tall and can run like the wind and use the ball. And I'm like, yeah, we drafted one the year before who looks, better. He's staying in the side, more consistent. And, hopefully he can hit the gym in the off-season because when he stands sideways, you can see through him. Yeah. Cody, I'm with you.
Yeah, so if you're just talking about his goals and so look, it's a good problem to have. I don't mind seeing what he can do.
The depth's looking pretty good.
If you go back to this bloke, he was a bit of a Mr. Fix-It in his day, wasn't he? What did you need doing?
It was a bit better than that.
You take a game by the scruff. So look, Will Day, there you go, fella.
No pressure.
So if you are that way inclined, the base compression gear, I think we've got something exciting coming up related to them. But if you are a runner, the gear is designed to aid your performance and importantly your recovery. So there's compression tights that will stay cooler, offer you muscle support and recovery benefits for your training and game day activities. Check out basecompression.com and use the code TalkingHawks20 for 20% off, or you'll find their logo on the Talking Hawks partner page, and that will automatically give you that discount. So check out their gear. So interesting. What's your biggest concern this round, this matchup?
Yeah, I think if we lose the game, it's going to be because our midfield group just weren't up to it. So I'm not saying just LDU on his own, but not to be that broken record. But if we can't get our hands on the ball in the contest, it's not going to work out well for us. In the last month, we're third in the competition for scores from clearance around the ground. So and it's so frustrating because I think now we're 6th for scores per inside 50. So we can score. We really can. We just can't get it in there consistently enough. That's the next step in this. Is it because we're trying so hard to bring the ball into the middle, we're caught out? I'm not sure. Watching the West Coast game mightn't have been the greatest example because the Eagles aren't going that well at the moment. But once we get the ball in our forward half, we're doing good things with it. We just need to be doing it more, and it starts in the midfield.
Well, one thing I'm getting hands on the ball, but the stat that I sort of tied into watching last week's game, the Hawks averaged 350 disposals per game. I know it was wet against the Eagles, but it was 400 disposals. So that's a really big lift, and that comes from, I guess, weather conditions where you have to maybe go and get it again, or it doesn't quite come off properly. But I'm interested to see if we do increase that total disposals, because that to me indicates a bit more control. Yeah, that's what we do with it at the end of the day. But getting hands on ball initially, that was a really encouraging sign for me. So I would be concerned if we drop off a long way from that. I like the tone that we started to see last week. So,
yep.
All right, Daz. Well, let's start to either finish here.
Need some
fans,
tips.
what are your tips? Give it to us. Points, margin, and your goal kicker or disposal.
Yeah.
We're just
All the
loving
best
just
on
throwing it
ground.
out there. What are your
That's it.
thoughts? Go the bog.
That's
Who's the big 5-starer? Who's the man to watch?
Ooh.
You'll come up with your preview, and we always look forward to reading those, Daz. So here we go. Mitchie's coming in.
Another moral. He got away with one lock, the big fella, and he's just going to do it again until we lose, which is extraordinary behaviour. Hawks by 33, so Dom and Mitch are on the same page.
Yeah.
It's a nice margin. North 50. Oh, come on, Fred. No.
Jeez. I think he's trying to be a realist. Tell me, Fred.
Realist? They're on the bottom of the ladder.
Oh, well, look, he said unfortunately in the way he came. Yeah, come on, Scotty.
He's a great man, Fred, but he's got to be better than that.
Scotty's got a Lewis flex going on with that call.
Hobart with a cold wind. Hawks by 31. Ward, BOG. Love that.
Wouldn't that be nice to see him back it up?
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
2 weeks in a row.
First goal more. BOG, Newcomb. Oh, boy.
There we go.
That'd be nice. Our boy, he's been good.
Yes.
He's been battered.
We were kind of expecting maybe a rest week for that body, but geez,
what rest? He wouldn't know what a rest is.
Yeah, I know. Well, look, that's the brief now, isn't it, to the recruitment team? If you're a chippy, then and you can kick a ball well.
Hawks by 6. Kerry, I like it. Balmy 15 on Saturday in Hobart. Beautiful footy weather. So I'll go my tip, Matty. I'm going Hawks, 3 goals exactly. 18. I agree with Jack Gunston with the first goal, Cody. I was going to go with it, and I reckon we'll all get around him, and that would just be the perfect way to start the game. Leading goal kicker. Oh, I feel like we're going to get a really good spread. So I'll go Jai, 35 touches.
Okay. I'm going Hawks by 26. I'm thinking Brewster's going to back it up. He's just got the tail up at the moment. I think it'll be a 3-goal day, but I don't think he'll waste many, and I reckon he's going to have a few good scoring involvements. So I think you're right on sharing the goal kicking. All right, let's go for disposals. Yeah, I'm going to have to give it to Tommy. I'm giving him 33, but Titch is going to set up a lot, and I'll look forward to a barrel. I don't care who it's from. Sis,
how good was Sis's barrel just before we go? 66.2 meters.
I'll take that any day. So it gets the fans up.
Well, it does. Well, think of the MCG with Torps. Look no further than Brent Guerra to Stratton to Buddy, who leapt over the top of the contest and put it through from, it's been a few years now, so we could probably say 90.
All right. One little bit of controversy here just to finish the show. But actually, and on the flip side, good news too. Looks like Talking Horse will hit around 4,500 in terms of player sponsorship, which has helped us cover the guys that we've got this year, the money going into the club. Coming up to AFLW, we are having a look at the ladies to see if we can sponsor one of the AFLW. Would have loved to have got to Box Hill, but we just didn't get enough money in the coffers early enough to help them at this point. So, and here's the controversy, mate. Someone has hacked your account.
Oh, that'll be the missus. She's stitching me up. Guys, I'm on your screen. I'm not posting. This isn't me.
All right. On that note, we will hopefully be enjoying a review early next week. probably Monday to hopefully celebrate 3 on the trot. But until then, stay well, everybody. Stay safe. Daz, mate, you have a good one. Thanks for joining us, everybody, and
Go the Hawks.
we'll catch you next week. Cheers, everyone.